having me. Great to be here. I think this is just fantastic, you guys being here. And when I was asked to speak, I started thinking about my coaches and my journey and what I was going to talk about today. And like Frank said, there was a lot of teams and a lot of coaches. So I'm going to talk about kind of my path and more the path to get to the NHL. And when I say get to the NHL, get there for good, because I got there and then went back to the minors. But I think it's all about learning and learning from your mistakes. And it's super important to understand as a coach. The things that come to my mind are obviously systems and positional, right? And a bunch of people have talked about it, right? And what you're trying to create, right? Because everyone plays a very similar system, and the systems aren't rocket science, right? But where coaching comes into effect is there's always gray areas in coaching, okay? And when you're moving the puck across the roll street, or whatever you want to call it, when there's puck movement and there's players movement, there's gray areas. So for a coach, it's so important to understand those areas and to get your players to understand where you want them to be. And the younger they are, the harder it is. And some of these guys will say the older they are, the harder it is. But that's important as a coach. And a lot of people say, who's the best coach you ever had, right? Depends what you're looking for as a coach, how you define the best coach, right? And the next one is motivating. How do you motivate your players? How do you motivate your players as youngsters, as college kids, as pro players, as junior players, right? And like the next one is kind of connected to that, connecting with your players. This game evolves. It evolves every year. In my career, it evolved so much from, there's players in the NHL that are small defensemen that are making $4 or $5 million, that if they came up 15 years ago, they would never make the NHL. So your game as a player has to evolve, and your game as a coach has to evolve. And it's crazy, in even the highest level in the NHL, you see coaches come in and out of jobs, and a lot of the time is they have one way of coaching, and if the players don't fit that, something's going to give. So as a coach, you have to understand what you have. At the level of the OHL, he made a great point, Brownie, about how he connects with his coach to find out what kind of players do you want, and get the definition of that. Like you said, whatever, a hard-nosed player, what is a hard-nosed player? Is that a big player? Is that a fast-hitting player, right? So as a coach, you guys have to understand what you have on your hands, and how do you motivate them, and what systems are you going to, what tools do you have, and what system are you going to put those tools in? The next one, and especially a lot of people in the room, is development. How can you develop players? And this comes from a young age all the way to the NHL. How do you get your players to, players this day and age, you have shooting coaches, skating coaches, stick out coaching, fitness coaching, everything, right? So as you talk about development, okay, you really have to learn. You have to learn from everyone around you. And as I went through my career, and I'll share a quick synopsis, I know we're short on time, through my journey, right? And there's a lot of things that early in my career, I wish I would have thought of later in my career if I could go back. But as long as you keep learning as a coach or as a player, you're going to get better and improve. And then the last one is adjustments. It's a game, I feel like hockey is getting more towards football, where you have systems in place, you have face-off plays. So now you have to make adjustments of what play. You have to recognize what kind of system, what plays they're running, what power play they're running. And that's, having a video coach on hand, right? And, as we move through hockey and it evolves, we have to understand, you have to pick everyone's brain around you. You can learn something from everyone in hockey. I learn new things all the time. And I work with Adam Oates now, and I think he's one of the smartest hockey minds in the world, right? And just picking his brain. And why we became friends was when I was in Tampa and he was an assistant coach, I'd ask him to help me work on something after practice. He said, well, what do you want to work on? I said, I don't know, teach me something. So he would teach me little things as, you know, the puck's coming around the boards, it's rimmed, and you're on your backhand, right? He goes, take the puck, right? Go take the puck. So you can't take the puck with your stick. I'm like, what? He said, you can't take the puck with your stick. If it's shot hard around and spinning, there's no chance that you're going to keep it on your stick. And then you got to look down, so you're not looking at the play. As the puck comes fired around, you have to take it with your foot, so you can look. After a few times, then you have Marty saying, well, me coming over and trying this. Then you have Stamkos coming over and trying it. Hedman coming over and trying this, right? And this is something where none of these guys ever heard of this. Another example is OC met with a bunch of NHL players, does some consulting, and he met with a big name defenseman, and they were going through video, and he said, well, you're in the offensive zone. Puck's in the right corner. Where should you be? He goes, well, I should probably be in the middle of the ice. Well, maybe not. Maybe I should be a little further, right? You know, he looks at him and goes, you know what the answer to that is? Where's your man? There's no X on the ice where you have to be. If your winger's deep in the corner, that gives you more leeway to get into the slot and be part of the rush. If you're a winger, and who is your winger? Is it Ovechkin or is it the fourth line winger? That's a huge difference on what your calculation is of calculated risks. So it's crazy, and these are NHL defensemen that's never heard this in his life. That was the first time I heard it. I'm not a defenseman, but I listen to everything going through. So as coaches, the worst thing you can do is think you know everything, or you think your way is the best way, because one, there's multiple ways, and two, even if it's working now, if you don't evolve with the times, you're going to be out the door. So a little bit about my career, and I'll share a few stories with the coaches. It's crazy how, you know, kind of things come around in history, and history repeats itself. And one of my favorite coaches as a kid, and very successful, was a guy named Al Boone. And we had a pretty good team in Niagara Falls, minor hockey. It was very, very rare for a minor hockey team in Niagara Falls to win the NHLer because it was the smallest population. I mean, I think it happened once or twice. So every time we would win the region here in Niagara and outside, once we get outside Niagara and outside Hamilton and everything else, we played a team like London and get shelled like 10-1 in the semifinals of the NHLer. And every year we would win, and every year we get shelled. And now Al Boone came in, and he came in with 4 other guys, one his son, all dressed in suits for the games. Had a meeting with the parents and the players, and you know, parents are at, well, they better be there an hour before. I said, no. He says, we want to get them there some time before. I know parents have to work and get them there, just make sure they're on the ice. Okay, it's more important being on the ice. Make sure they're there for practice, they don't miss practice. So we started developing a culture. And at 12 years old, we had 3 systems. I'm not saying for you guys to do that or if that was right, but he knew our end goal was to get out of that semifinal and take the next step. As kids, we thought we had no chance. As a coach, he was putting something in place to do that. So as we went through the year, history repeats itself. We come out and we played Central Ontario, and we ended up losing game 1. The first game we lost all year in our home rink, and he had a meeting and he said, relax, we're going to win this series. Stick to the plan, stick to the system, stick to listen what we've been talking and growing. He goes, you guys are getting away from what got us here. You see this big team, you think about getting shelled the last few years, stick, believe in each other. We ended up winning the next 3 games and beating them, and beating Barrie in the OHAs, to win the OHAs. And this is how crazy politics in minor hockey, and I'm sure everyone knows it here, next year they don't give them the team back. Year later, puts in for the team again, does not get the team. So now we're 15. We go to the OHA final, we finished third, losing the finals, now we're 15. 7 players off our team go to junior B or midget. They give the team back to Alboom. He has a meeting with me and a guy named Kevin Dolman, playing in the NHL, still playing in Europe, one of the best defensemen in Europe, and said, listen, I want you guys to stay and play Bantam instead of moving up. And I'm not doing this for me as a selfish move. I'm telling you this is better for you to develop here with me than go. So me and Kevin stayed. But he said, we need players. We just lost 7. Do you know any players? I said, well, I'm from Niagara Lake. We had a couple guys there. So when we went scouting to find guys. So as we go through that year again, we trusted the coach. And we just saw the video about the baseball team. I mean, that was our team to that coach. And after losing 7 of our best players, we went through the whole gauntlet and we won the OHAs again. And we talked about winning a bit. And Maury talked about it. And the older you get, the more important it is. As kids, and for coaches, you have a tough job because in this society, you can't put too much emphasis on winning, but boy, does winning help. And you know why it helps is because winning is fun. You want your kids to want to come to the rink. If they're winning and they're winning tournaments, they want to come to the rink. If you're winning, you get more ice. You go to tournaments, instead of playing 3 games, you're playing 5, 6. In the playoffs, you're playing more. The more you're on the ice and the more they're intense and they love the game more. And that's where winning comes into the forefront. Very tough job for you guys, especially with kids, because it's a happy balance. So you know the emphasis on winning. You can't really tell them the emphasis on winning, but you want them to get the benefits from winning. So that's something that you always have to have in the back of your mind. After getting out of Niagara, I get drafted to Ottawa of the OHL, and I was a 5th round draft pick. So they had 11 returning forwards. They just went to the finals and lost in the finals. They had a European pick, Alfredson's brother, coming in, and they had 3 forwards ahead of me in the draft. Likelihood of me making this team, not very good. I went to camp and they had this whole thing with the 48-hour thing about college and everything. Yeah, it was, right? And we a couple injuries in camp, and someone told me, Coach, one day, there's no lost opportunity because someone's going to pick it up. So when you have the opportunity, okay, it was 2 guys broke their hands in camp, right? And then I got pulled into a room and Killer gave me a card, and you don't worry about any 48-hour rule. Like you sign that card and you start playing for the Ottawa 67s. And Killer is a very intense coach, not a very system-oriented coach. We had the same practice for 4 years. Yeah, so to verify that thing. But the one thing with Ottawa, and it was in one of the clips, is you went to Ottawa as a boy and you came over to man. Or you ended up in North Bay or Sudbury or Sudbury. And it was pretty funny / crazy that Killer would only trade you to like Sault Ste. Marie or Sudbury or North Bay, and they weren't very good teams usually. So if you don't want to play his way, he's going to ship you out, and he's going to ship you out to a cold garbage team. So in the end, it actually didn't end up working out because players were like, I don't want to get shipped out. Okay, I'll start listening to Killer. So I was lucky enough. Our first year, we had a very good team, and we won the World Cup. Now, like Windsor, I think we were the last team to do it before Windsor did this year. We got beat out in the 2nd round, and we hosted the World Cup. So we had to wait, whatever it was, 6 weeks. And the positive to that is you're healthy. The negative is you're rusty, and it doesn't happen very often. And It's a combination of your leadership group has to be really good. Your coaches have to be pretty good too in those 6 weeks to be creative. And with your coaches as kids, creativity is so important to keep them focused, keep them having fun. And we had those 6 weeks, and we ended up winning the Mem Cup. And the next year we had a pretty good team, and we lost in the second round. And over the course of the summer, there were 7 of us still that were on that World Cup team, and you see other guys in the bars or the gym, and they would say, "Well, you guys won the World Cup, but you didn't win the OHL. You guys went in the back door." So seven of us were pretty kind of annoyed at that we didn't have that OHL title. And my third year was supposed to be the rebuild year. And quick little story of Killer. I love Killer, and it's a love-hate relationship, but I wanted to play with a player. His name was Lance Galbraith, and Belsey knows him. He never put us two together, and we lost a bunch of games in a row, and now we're almost going to, we're 2 points of falling out of the playoffs, which this was never even heard of in Ottawa, right? So we pick up the paper the next morning. Killer has a quote, says, "This is the most undisciplined bunch of guys I've ever coached. I don't know what to do with these guys. Hopefully next year we can figure this out." So I go to the rink, and Killer's like, "You got that idiot? He's yours. I don't even want to talk to him ever again." I'm like, "Cool." He's like, "Lance, you can have him on your line." So the last 8 games, we won 7, 1 tie, okay, and we were the hottest team going in the playoffs. We finished 4th in the conference. North Bay was the second hottest team, and we swept them. I think part of the reason was we had a real tight group that liked to have fun, liked to work hard, liked to play hard on and off the ice. And we thought the quicker we sweep these guys, the quicker we can have some fun in Ottawa with girls from school and everything else. So we beat them. Now we play Belleville, who's beat us out the last 2 years, right? We won the World Cup, but Belleville beat us out the next year. So we ended up playing them, and that's the thing of our top line was me, this Galvin kid that was rough around the edges that couldn't skate either. I couldn't skate, and then we had this little kid that couldn't skate that well, but could score, right? And except for the first round, every other round we were the away team, so we opened up in the other team's building. So every round we would start our line, and they started their top line. And what we knew is you have to play to your strengths, and you have to play to your strengths of your players. And our strengths were we were really, really tough guys to play against. And we fought, we hit, we scored. So Belleville would match with their top line, which was like Wellwood, Ovich. You guys had over 100 points. And we shelled them in their building. It was like 8-2. These guys are hurt, right? And game 2, they pull that line away from our line. Every time we go on the ice, they pull off their top line. So we lose game 2, game 3 and 4 are back in our building. We get our matchup, we play against them. Win game 3 and 4, lose in game 5, game 6, we win. Next series we play Toronto, number 1 team. It was pretty cool because the Ottawa Senators were supposed to win the Stanley Cup. They were the number 1 seed in the NHL. The Toronto Maple Leafs was number 8. Toronto ends up sweeping Ottawa, and it's like a devastation in Ottawa of we're supposed to win the Stanley Cup, we lose to our biggest rival, we're allowed to step. So now we're playing Toronto, and now Ottawa's saying this is like the rematch, right? Because they got nothing to write about, and everybody wants to see hockey. So now it's sold out, and we're playing Toronto, and again, we match up our line in Toronto, we shell them in Toronto, and we end up actually sweeping them in the series. So then we played Plymouth in the finals, and same thing happened. We played against Stephen Weiss and Rose, and first game they match up their top line against ours, and we shelled them the first game, got shelled the second, and we just held court. Every home game we won the OHL. So it was something where coaching had a lot to do with that as well, because we didn't have the horses to win the race, but we just put the horses in the right position to win a race here and there, to win enough to win a championship, right? My last year in the OHL, a lot of people don't know this because if you Google my name, it'll be a million fights. I led the league in assists in the OHL, but I didn't have a place to play. I was never drafted. I had like literally 2 offers in the East Coast, and it was kind of decision time. And that's why I met with Murray, and I met with a lot of universities, and I almost committed to university. And my mom was a very conservative person, said, I think you should go play pro. I was like, not go to school? And she's like, you're always gonna say what if. And if I had a son in that same position, I'd make him go to school because it worked out for me with the odds of it working out. So from there, I went to Wheeling, West Virginia, where John Brophy was my coach. And I think, I forgot my stats there, but I led the team in scoring. I had 280 minutes in penalties. And I had four games in the AHL. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm dominating these guys in the OHL, and now all these guys play in the AHL and NHL. Now I go to the East Coast, we're beating all these guys. Our team wasn't doing that well, but points and everything else. So I started thinking over the summer, and I said, you know what, like, I gotta get an opportunity to somehow get into the AHL. Because I wasn't a very good skater, and then I started going to the skating coach, working with development coaches, because I had to find a way just to get there so I could, once I got there, I'd get used to the speed. So I said, you know what? I said, well, maybe I should have fought that guy that time. Maybe I should have done this. And I said, that's it, no more what ifs. Like, if I'm thinking of fighting someone, I'm fighting them. If I'm thinking of hitting someone and going, I'm gonna I don't want to be sitting here next summer again, haven't played in the AHL much, and saying, oh, I should have done this and that. So that year, I signed in Utah, and their East Coast affiliate was Boise, Idaho. I fell off a racehorse, long story, in the summer, was not ready for camp, didn't go to Dallas camp, went to Utah, couldn't skate. They brought in the East Coast coach, and they said, either you got hurt in the summer, but we're gonna release you, or the coach can take you. Now, if they release me, career's over. Coach says we're taking me. So I was in a walking booth in November, and got called up to Utah in December. Don Hay was a coach, really smart coach. Worked under Hitchcock, and Hitchcock is one of the best hockey minds in the world. Not connected with players, but hockey minds. So I played 40 games in Utah, had a pretty decent year, and again, I was fighting a lot, but towards the end of the year I could keep up with the speed and everything else. Well, now, Utah's not gonna make the playoffs. Don Hay has a kid in the East Coast on the team in Boise, right? I went to Don Hay and I said, I want to be sent down. And he's like, I've never heard this in my life. What do you mean you want to get sent down? I said, well, we're not going to make the playoffs here. Boise's making the playoffs. He's like, listen, do not, he's like, listen, I got a kid there, and I would want you to go down, but don't go down. You're an AHL player right now, and you're going to finish the year as an AHL player. You go to the East Coast, you're going to finish the year on the East Coast, you're going to be East Coast hockey player. I said, Don, I'm sorry, like, I want to go. I said, the coach took me when, I could have been out of hockey. So he wouldn't let me go until they were mathematically out. So I was kind of up and down, but so I went back to the East Coast to Boise, and again I told him, I said, well, yeah, but if we win, then I'll be an East Coast winner. He's like, you guys don't even have home ice advantage in the first round. Like, my kid's on the team. I hope you're right, but you're not. Like, so we ended up playing Las Vegas in the first round. We're down 2-0 in the series. Came back 1-5. Played Alaska, beat them in 4. Played Gwinnett, beat them, swept them, and then played Florida in the finals and beat them. So, had an East Coast championship under my belt, and out of that, got me a contract with the Anaheim Ducks. And boy, oh my God, it's unbelievable. You get an NHL contract, and then you start realizing there's 50 other guys on contract, and now the lockout happens. So I'm thinking, now all these guys are going to come down from the NHL, I'm going to end up back in the East Coast. So much for the NHL contract. So I went to, we had development camp, and we had a rookie tournament in Anaheim. And so I went to play, and I was against Lafayette on the team. I'm the fourth line center. And the first game we're playing, and San Jose has this big meathead guy on the ice, I forgot the guy's name, and so he asked me to fight, we fight. And we're going at it, and I throw a punch, and he kind of slips, he goes down, right? But it looks like I knocked the guy out, right? So the guy's like, you didn't knock me out. I'm like, I know. He's like, we're going again, right? I'm like, oh, great, I gotta fight this idiot again, right? So then, later in the game, he asked me to go, I fight him, pretty good fight, pretty even, everything else, right? It's had a pretty good game, I thought, you know, like, so I come in the room, and like, Babcock wants to talk to you. So I go into Babcock's office, like, how fucking stupid are you? I'm like, what? He's like, you gotta be fucking stupid. Are you stupid? I'm like, I don't think so. He's like, I'm trying to get this through my head. He's like, the biggest meat, the toughest guy in the tournament, you fight him, you beat him, the whole bench is going nuts, everyone's going nuts. Why would you think of fighting him again? I said, why? I didn't say anything. I was going to say, well, he kind of slipped, and he said I didn't punch him out. I don't know. So, but he's like, listen. He's like, your job is to get the team going and protect the players. So do your job, right? And then, like, on the way out, he said, that's a pretty good game, right? So I was like, well, that's kind of cool. So then the rest of the tournament gets off very, had a couple bad games, and then put on a line with a couple pretty good players, got some points. Had a pretty good camp. So now going to Cincinnati, I'm thinking maybe I can make the AHL team, right? So we go to camp, I make the AHL team. I'm pretty happy. It's like 12 games in, I got like a goal and assist, killing some penalties, fighting a bit, right? And then all three centermen get hurt. And Luke pulls off to the worst start. He's got like 1 goal in 13 games. And he's got like 22 the year before in the NHL. They're all over him. So I get put on a line with Joffrey Lupul. And he scores. So the next game, I'm on his line again, he scores again. The next game, a couple forwards come back, and we walk in the room, and Lupul's playing with the top line center, I think it was Perot, and he went to the coach, Brad Shaw, and Balsmo's assistant said, I want to play with Zeke. Like, we're scoring. You guys are all over and we're scoring. So I played with him the rest of the year, and finished second in scoring on the team. Lupul won, me too, which gave me an opportunity. And again, gets back to opportunity. When you have an opportunity, you have to take advantage of it. So after that year, I get called up to Anaheim the next year. Quick little story. Me and Kunitz were the last 2 cuts in Anaheim camp. And I'm just happy I'm like still there. Like one of the last cuts, this is the greatest thing in the world, right? And he's my roommate in the hotel. So I get back to the hotel. I went first, right? So Kunitz comes back in. Like, what happens? I get cut. He's like, what'd they tell you? I'm like, well, I can't skate, I gotta work on this, that. I was like, what'd they tell you? They're like, I don't want it enough. Ryan Burke's like, you don't want it enough. So Kunitz is like, he's like, oh, virtually in tears, right? I'm like, Kunitz, don't worry about it. He's like, no. He's like, what am I gonna tell my kids, my grandkids? Like, I don't want it enough? Like, and like, really got upset. And I'm like, so he got sent down, picked up by Atlanta. Then they dropped him, went to the minors, and then he got called up, put on a line with Solani and McDonald. 4 Stanley Cups later, Olympic gold later. His grandkids can be pretty proud of him now. But you know, it's the craziest thing of, that's why I tell the story to younger players or junior players because it was that close for Kunitz. You know? If he goes down, he doesn't have a good, and you get lost in the shuffle so quick. There's so many good players on this earth. Like, I run hockey camps, and when I talk to kids and they start not listening, you know, there was a team that was pretty good, they wanted to open shake, right? And I start telling them a story about, like, okay, well, let's realistically, there's 20 kids on your team. Well, realistically, probably 8 or only 12 aren't even going to play junior B. And of those 8, 3 more are going to never play college or OHL if you're lucky. And out of that, maybe you got 1 or 2. So do you want to be the kid that's talking and not developing, or you want to be that kid that might be one of those 1 or 2? And as soon as you explain it that way, they're like, okay, now we're going to start listening. And that gets back to connecting with the players and understanding how do you motivate them? How do you get them to tick? Right? And that's the biggest thing at Dave's level here with the OHL and the NHL, right? And that's Ken Hitchcock, I brought his name up, is one of the best hockey minds in the game. Sure won more than 1 Stanley Cup. And he can't keep a job because he can't connect with his players. Like, when I was in Columbus, the adjustments that guy would make were ingenious. To a fact where, because Kilray had no system, Brophy had no system, the guy in Boise had a system, we didn't even know what we were doing, right? I didn't have many years under a system. So when I got to Hitchcock, it was years later that like I started going back and thinking about what he was saying. And it started like sinking in. So that's the other thing, as a coach, you gotta make sure the system, you're getting through to the kids. Because you got the best system in the world. I say that with supplements, right? Supplements, you know, people look on the back of the supplements, right? It doesn't matter what's in that bottle of supplements, what's gonna absorb into your body. Because if that goes through you and you have all the supplements in the world, but you don't absorb anything, it's a terrible supplement. And same with a system. You can have the best system in the world, but if your players aren't understanding it, forget it. And it's tough for coaches, That's why there's so many coaches changes in the NHL, because that's a high stake game, right? So from there, in Anaheim, was up and down in Anaheim, and again, you look back on things, I ended up going to Russia for 2 months. So I come back from Russia, long story short, kind of blackballed by Weinberg because I went to Russia and he wants to set an example not to go to Russia. From there, I go to Columbus, and that's where Hitchcock was. And the last quick story I'll tell you guys, because we're talking about making the NHL, where I finally made it, was I signed a contract with Tampa Bay in Norfolk, but it was, the first year was a 2-way contract, the second year was a 1-way contract, okay? So pretty much the second year, even if I go to the minors, I'm getting NHL money. So a lot of times you got a good chance to make the team. So I go to camp, and Barry Melrose is the coach. And Barry's a great guy, and again, evolving with the times, probably didn't evolve with the times like most coaches, very old school guy. I come in there, and by the time after I sign, now I'm on a 2-way deal the first year, like every week they're signing more forwards. I'm like, how many forwards does this team want? Like there's 16 guys on 1-way contracts. So I come in, I have a great camp, has an exhibition, Melrose sits me down and says, you just keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna make this team. You're gonna make this team, right? So we're playing in New York, last exhibition game, then we're going to Europe to start the year, right? And before the game, Melrose is like talking to me, like, about the year and everything like that. That's a pretty good sign. So after the game, have a pretty good game, I get called into the office, and there's Melrose and Brian Lawton, and assistant coaches. So Brian Lawton was GM. And Barry Melrose looked at me and goes, you made my team. That guy won't let me keep you.
In front of him?
Oh yeah, right in front of him, right there, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, no, you say whatever you want to say to him, because you deserve that right, because you made this team. And Lawton's like, yeah, you know, we got a lot of 1-way contracts, you know, we're gonna, you know, and Mo was like, say something. Like, I'm like, well, thanks for the opportunity. He's like, no, you give it to this guy. Like, I'm like, he's still my GM. So I went down that year, and then Melrose ended up getting fired, and a lot of people say, I talked to the goalie coach, they said, when they lost the battle, when he lost the battle to keep me, he lost his power to Lawton, and it was just a matter of days before he was going to be gone. So the next year I come into camp, Rick Tocchet's the coach, okay, and I have a tremendous summer of training. I mean, this is the strongest I've been, the fittest I've been, skating coach most of the summer, lifting, running with sleds, unbelievable. So it's about 2 weeks before, I was at 10 days, and I broke my foot. So I went to the doctor. It was bugging me for a while. I broke it actually a couple months before, about a month before that in a summer tournament. I kind of got a little out of hand. But so I went to the doctor, and it's like 10 days before, and they do a 4D ultrasound, and he's like, you got a fracture in your foot. I'm like, I can't. I got to go to camp. I got a 1-way contract. Finally, I got it. He's like, okay, how many days? He's like, 13 days. Okay, listen, like 10 days, can't do anything on it. Like, don't put pressure on it, anything. Keep icing the shit out of it. Then, like, the last 3 days, get on the ice and then see what happens. Like, that's the only thing you could do. So I showed up to camp, And I was still in decent shape because I was in such good shape before that, but I wasn't in shape good. So I fought 11 times in camp and exhibition because I could punch stuff like that, but I couldn't skate for very long. So my way out of this was to keep fighting until I get in shape. And it actually worked, and I made the team. So, you know, from there, you know, I ended up going to New York and had Jack Capuano as a coach. McLean in Ottawa, my buddy Mike Gill in Minnesota, and then Ted Nolan in Buffalo. You know, I'm just on finishing notes. It's a tough job. I commend everyone for doing it, especially at the kids level, because you know, the one thing to, you know, help your other coaches. You know, there's a lot of people in this room that have good hockey minds. Okay, and I'm not talking to these guys up here, back here. Okay. And you guys taking the time to come here, you guys are learning. But there's other volunteers, and that's what they are, volunteers and parents that aren't at your level. So instead of getting mad at coaches, why they're doing this and that, if you can share some of this and share what you learned here, we want to make Niagara players better. Okay, and it doesn't matter if they come from Niagara Falls, St. Catharines, Fort Erie, Grimsby. Okay, this is what we're here to do. We're here to make the next generation and get some more players to come from here, and not even maybe put them in the NHL, but if you get a scholarship, you go play in the OHL, okay? Those connections and those life lessons you learn are invaluable for the rest of your life. You know, and we're doing a quick little plug with me and Adams. We're doing there's a private school in Niagara Lake that we're doing a hockey as a subject. So we're working with minor hockey teams. So you play for your minor hockey team. We just get you from 8 till 10 in the morning, where we're going to go through all the details of the game. So if you know any kids going to high school, we want to get off the ground, and honestly, I want to get off the ground to help Niagara and get more players out of here into pro hockey, into college, into university. So anyway, thanks for your time. That was great.